Okay, so let's do Nathan. Nathan, renowned flat earther, used to be the admin of the largest flat earth Facebook group in the world, which probably made it the largest flat earth group on the internet. It had 400,000 members. Recently, it was banned. He hasn't taken it particularly well. So he's, I think, been focusing on YouTube a little more with these kind of videos, which is nice for me. So let's see what he has to say when he's, quote, sharing biblical cosmology with our church pastor. Towing24, let's be real, Nathan has probably also peed in his basement. Who hasn't? Who hasn't peed in their basement? What's a little basement pee between gamers, okay?
So, I'm over here with Brian. We're at church, of course, Sunday morning. And the pastor said globe 6 times from the stage. So, I got triggered. And I had to go tell him that the earth is flat. And at first, I pulled him aside and I talked to him one-on-one. And he totally rejected everything I had to say. And I literally have my notebook, guys, with like 200 proofs written out.
Why didn't this person believe my completely fabricated evidence?
That the Earth's not, I'm showing him this, and he's like, oh, wow, that's incredible. Look at this. I'm like, look, these are all the reasons that you're wrong. The Earth is not.
It's like a journal you find in a serial killer's house, and that's like the end of the first or second act. End of the first act, beginning of the second act, when you're like, oh, this serial killer's really crazy. You find the notebook and all the insane scribblings. Wind changer, hi Hannah, I'm alive. Did you miss me? I didn't consume enough cannabis to kill a human last night, evidently. I don't even know how much that would have to be. I don't know how much weed you would have to do in order to die. All of it, I would think. Thanks for reminding me of this cursed image. Tucker, I blame my nightmares on you. It says not found. I can't look at the image, whatever it is. Oh no, not the notebook of doom. Hey, do you have a notebook full of insane scribblings of things you learned on YouTube? If not, get on Nathan's level, guys.
It's just me and him talking. I'm like, look, I got all the reasons right here. I've been studying this for 5 years. Just look into it. That's all I'm saying. He's like, well, no, I know you're wrong. I'll see you later. If you can't fellowship here, pretty much. He's like, if you can't fellowship here because you disagree. And I'm like, I just don't want you lying to people, dude. You know what I mean? So Brian was at church with me. He heard him say it 6 times. And so after he rejected what I said, I walked up to Brian and I said, Brian, go talk to Pastor real quick, please.
Flat Earth. Get off Flat Earth, by the way, of course, if you have it on your bingo card. Flat Earth. Let me get it on the bingo call sheet. It's the journal from the movie 7. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm referencing. I always forget where stuff is on this sheet. I gotta remember at some point. Flat Earth. There we go. Does this count as my research? My research is in quotes. I think they literally have to say the word research. Like, they have to say, I researched this, or here's my research. You can't just be like, here's my notebook, because that's not the word research. It's in quotes. Typically, if something is in quotes in the thing, it has to be mentioned, right? Specifically. That's what the quotes are there for.
Just go talk to him because he rejected what I said. So then we went to him 2 by 2, right? You know how the Bible says if someone rejects your message, grab someone else in the church. And then if they reject that person, get the whole church to tell them they're wrong. So Brian went up to him. What'd you say, Brian?
Well, I began to tell him about what God says in Genesis. And not even just Genesis, the whole Bible, but I started with Genesis and I said...
I don't like that characterization. Again, I'm not religious. It's, you know, if you have a religion, that's your business. I don't care. I just don't believe in it myself. But the characterization of God says in Genesis is frustrating to me as a non-religious person because the Bible wasn't written by God. The Bible was written by human beings. Even if you're a Christian, you have to recognize that the Bible and the scriptures that it is made out of were not, like, sent down from heaven one day and, like, landed in front of people. Even if you were to believe that God exists, certainly you would have to understand that the Bible would be written by people about God, or even if you think God had some sort of divine inspiration involved, it would still be interpreted through the lens of an imperfect human being, and therefore you should have some leeway on understanding that not everything that's written in the Bible is necessarily going to be 100% accurate in terms of being literally true. I don't get it. It's frustrating. Even within the religion of Christianity, it is such a leap to say literally the words written in the Bible are literally the word of God no matter what. There is no errancy. There's nothing like the way that the Bible has been edited over time has no bearing on the legitimacy of my literalist beliefs. It's frustrating, to say the least. Obowan with 100 bits. The amount of weed to overdose is smoking 1,500 pounds, approximately 750 kilograms of marijuana in a 15-minute time frame. For edibles, it's about 500 pounds. Challenge accepted. What is the music Nathan is playing? I think it's a Flat Earth song. There's a lot of Flat Earth music. Like, there are a ton of Flat Earthers who use Flat Earth to try and get people to listen to their terrible mixtape. Bingo is really difficult when you have to leave to get lunch. Can someone fill out my card for me? I'm sure people can fill you in if you come back a little bit later. Did I ever click on the link that you fixed? Hold on. Oh. Jesus.
You know, what did God say after 6 days of creation? In Genesis 2:1, right? He said it is finished after his 6 days of creation. So how is it that we can actually read our Bibles and still believe in what we're being told by mainstream, science? There are 180 degrees difference. Science says that we live in an ever-expanding universe, right? And we're a speck of nothing and very insignificant.
Even within a biblical framework, the phrase "it is finished" does not mean that things are immune to change. It means everything would be in place, like a billiard table. Like, if I'm playing pool with someone and I set up all the billiard balls in the triangle thing, I don't know what the triangle thing you put them in is, I can say, "It is finished, we're ready to play the game," but that doesn't mean that once someone breaks, that doesn't mean that the positions on the board aren't going to change, or on the table, rather. God saying it is finished in Genesis does not mean that literally nothing can ever change. The expansion of the universe that we observe is just a natural consequence of the laws of physics, and if you believe in God, then you need to believe that God put those laws into place for some reason, or if not purpose, at least because it allows things to exist the way they do. I don't see the contradiction between believing, oh, okay, we live in a universe that is expanding, and also believing that there is a creator. I don't believe that because I don't think there's evidence for a creator, but if you do, the two things aren't necessarily contradictory.
Yeah.
And we're traveling through the universe, 20 million miles a day or something like that?
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
So no signs, no seasons in the sky, all just morphing parallax.
And God said it was finished.
All just morphing parallax. That sentence means nothing. Yes, the stars in the sky, over time, they show a parallax effect because they're at different depths, because the distances between the stars are quite large. But just calling stars morphing parallax means basically nothing. I think he just wants to use some he wants to use words other than "I think stars are dumb," because he thinks using the words morphing parallax sounds more intellectual, even though it does the opposite, considering it basically means nothing in this context.
Finished after 6 days of creation. So how could it be ever expanded?
Yeah, sure. It's a little light, but I'll count it as word salad. We're doing Jillian later anyway, so it's not like we're not going to get word salad. That's fine. You can mark that one off. I don't think I have it on my bingo card. Rustafarian601, thanks for subscribing. Parallax, the Green Lantern villain. Same name, different things. Parallax is the effect that you have when... Can we mark off that's not how science works? No, not yet. What was I going to say? Oh, parallax is like things closer to you change their perspective as you pass them or go around them at a different rate than objects that are further away. It's like when you're a kid and you're looking out the passenger window of a car across like a farm field or something. This isn't going to be relevant to someone, I guess, who doesn't live in an area with farm fields. But like the objects close to you, bushes, ditches, signposts, they appear to be going by very quickly, whereas stuff that's distant, like a tree on the other side of the farm field, appears to be moving perspective relative to your vehicle slower. That's parallax. The Doppler effect for light. I don't know. I don't know if that would be... I don't know what causes the parallax effect, so I can't speak to that.
How could we... And it also, the Bible says that it's immovable, it's fastened, it's built on pillars, it's unshakable. I mean, it has 4 corners. You know, all these things that describe a flat and stationary plane.
Right, but these things were written by people who lived long before the advent of the scientific method. These descriptions of the Earth don't really describe it accurately. That's the case of a lot of things in the Bible. I mean, the Bible doesn't mention a lot of things that are true about the Earth, or outright says things that are untrue about it, but that's just kind of a result of being written in the Bronze Age, you know? It's not like at any point in the Bible they go, hey, do you guys know that there's like a whole other, there's some continents across that big ocean? There are people there. Did you know that? It doesn't say like, oh, the building blocks of life. It's this double helix. It's, you know, the Bible doesn't describe anything scientifically. It comes down to like complete scientific inaccuracies. There's a story where a shepherd, in order to get certain sheep to come out with different patterns on their wool, or maybe it's goats and it's their fur, I'm not sure. Either way, it's animals, it's some chattel that they have, and they want to get different patterns on the fur because of some agreement that they have with a farmer that they work for that says like, hey, you can have all the speckled ones and I'll have all the ones that have pure white fur. So in order to create ones with more pure white, or more speckled ones rather, they had the animals mate in front of a specific tree or something. I don't remember the specifics, but basically the idea being that mating around certain things in the environment will cause, like, phenotypical differences in the offspring created from that copulation. Which, of course, is ridiculous based on our current understanding of how genetics works. So, the Bible is full of information that isn't necessarily scientifically accurate, and that comes out of the fact that it was written by people, again, in the Bronze Age. I don't necessarily fault them for that, in the sense that human beings innately desire to understand why things happen around them, so in the absence of actual evidence, human beings have a propensity to make up those reasons. But when you do find real reasons, and you find real science that explains things, you can't substitute that real science for something that made you feel better when you didn't have those answers. That's a bad way of going about figuring out how the world works. Jacob trying to screw over Esau. Was it? I thought that was a different one. I thought that was Jacob and the father of Rachel? Was her name Rachel? It's been a while since I read the Old Testament. It's been some years. Antipodian Squid, thank you for gifting a sub to Daughter of Tiamat. Nice. Ooh, you've gifted 69 gift subs in this channel. Nice.
Of existence that we live in, an Earth system that we live in. It's 180 degrees from anything that we hear from mainstream science. So what Nathan and I are trying to get across to pastors and Christians is that we can't stand over here on the NASA.
Mitchell Drummer, thanks for the 200 bits. Mitchell Drummer says snipe. I assume you became the stream boss or the bit leader. I'm not sure which. MMO addicted to 20 bits. Think there's a chance for Senate? North Carolina would have to flip, and the runoff election in Georgia would have to go to the Democrats, and Michigan would have to keep. I'm pretty sure it'll be another Republican Senate. Probably it'll be Republican. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get lucky. We shall see. Honestly, even if that happens, I'm still pretty happy with the election results if Biden wins, which it appears at this point he has a decent shot. Again, Michigan's 99% reporting, and he's decently ahead. He's got a 60,000 vote lead. And then Nevada is pretty close, but the polling was pretty strongly Biden, although the polling this cycle has been off again by like 5 or 6 points. It's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with polls, by the way. Both in 2016 and 2020. They've been bad. And And I don't know what happened, because polls historically have been relatively accurate, but something about the last, like, 4 years, it's just completely out of whack. I don't know if it's because right-wing people at this point are super paranoid, and they don't want to tell pollsters accurately, like, what they are voting for, who they're voting for some reason. I wouldn't know why, because the pollster doesn't care. They just want accurate information. Or if there's, like, a concerted effort to give these pollsters false information. I don't know. But either way, it's an interesting phenomenon. I'm curious what's going to happen 4 years, 8 years from now, if polling will start to line back up with, like, reality after Trump, or if it'll continue to be sort of in this weird space where it's not very accurate. You know what I mean? 2020 is insane. Anyway.
That's a footstool, and stand on the Bible at the same time.
Yeah.
They're 180 degrees difference.
They're diametrically opposed.
You either believe in what mainstream science tells you, or you believe in what God's word tells you.
I mean, yeah, the two aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Again, I'm not religious, but you can both be religious and recognize that science is our best tool in understanding the world as it exists, whether you believe it came into being, naturally or supernaturally through the work of a divine creator. Again, I don't think there's evidence for that, but you can do whatever you want. I don't care, as long as you're not hurting other people. I don't understand why, as a religious person, you would want to not listen to science, because it seems to me that if there were a God, that God would be happy that human beings were using their innate ingenuity and intelligence and logic skills, which, if there were a God, would have to be intentionally given to human beings, using their skills to try and learn about the universe that they reside in. It's weird to me that Christians are so anti-science. It depends on the Christian. Obviously, there are liberal Christians who are going to be more pro-science and stuff. But a decent portion of Christians, at least in the United States, have this thing where they cannot mesh their religious beliefs with scientific consensus. It's very frustrating.
You have to take a stance on one or the other. You can't stand on the fence between both of them.
And I asked him, I said, all right, so Ursa Globe, what's the best proof? And he said, boats going over the horizon.
Ooh, CNN calls Michigan for Biden. Good. Good. Because science debunks their God. Oh, I think that's a rough thing to say, because that's not true. God as a concept is an unfalsifiable concept. I certainly wouldn't say science points to God existing, because it doesn't. But science doesn't really have a opinion on the supernatural, because it's supernatural. You can't test the supernatural, and for me, that's enough for me to say, well, then I just don't believe in the supernatural. If something can't be materially tested in any way, shape, or form, or falsified, it's enough for me to say, okay, I don't think that thing's true. But to say science disproves that, I think, is going a step too far. Because that's not how science works. I just said that's not how science works. Interesting. Oh, yeah, I am wearing a NASA shirt today. That wasn't intentional, actually. This is part of a costume I'm wearing later. For D&D, we're wearing Halloween costumes, which I forgot about. So I have costumes in my house. It's fine. I'm gonna be like a Lady Star-Lord, Star Lady from Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm wearing the NASA shirt and the red leather, Star-Lord jacket over it. So.
So I literally had to pull up the video of the light through the magnifying lens being pushed away and showing how the atmosphere could cause things to disappear bottom first on a flat Earth too.
Is he comparing a boat going over the horizon to a candle melting? Do you think the boat is melting? What? Oh, does he think the flame is going out on the sun every night? Is that the implication here? well, when a candle goes out, it kind of looks like that, so the sun must go out at night. Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. My brain hurts. My brain's been hurting all, like, for a week. So I'm there with you.
All over this great big world. They told us that we lived on a sphere. Now it's hashtag I'ma hit you.
So when he says, I had to tell him this, I go, when you say boats over the horizon, I know you have no clue what you're talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the same three questions, the same three proofs, quote unquote, that we
No,
get
that's not holographic fake sun sky. That's a different thing.
all the time, right?
That's literally when people think like the sun is a hologram, which we've covered before. It's not the most common conspiracy trope, but it is a thing that comes up. Is that music legit? Wow. I mean, like I said, there's tons of flat earth music. Tons of people in flat earth think they can use flat earth to get their mixtape heard. And they're not wrong. People like Nathan promote this stuff.
Gravity, boats going over the horizon.
We ain't seen
and
no
NASA
curvature!
Yeah. And we know it's rotating because sometimes it's dark out.
Magnetar 707 feeling really good about this? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, your brother's watching? Coolio. What should I call? Because obviously we don't say Baja Blast's real name on here. So what am I gonna call Baja Blast's brother? You can't be Code Red because that's Sarah's name. Broha Blast. That's pretty good. I don't know. Broha Blast. We'll go with Broha Blast. Hello, Broha Blast. I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're feeling better. I've been stressed out about the election too. I know. It's stressful, but did AP call it yet? I know it was said CNN called it. AP hasn't called it yet, but looks like Michigan's going to Biden, so that's good. Now we just gotta see what happens in Nevada. Frustrating.
Outside.
Right.
So, wow, let's go get some breakfast.
Lunch? It's lunchtime now.
Well, I'm breaking my fast because I haven't had anything to eat all morning.
Yeah, let's go get something to eat, man.
I woke up. Brian's like, "You come to church?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to church. I'll see you in 5 minutes." All right, so thanks for watching. I love you guys. It's Sunday. If you got free time, do me a favor. Add all your woke friends, not everyone, just the woke friends, to the official Flat Earth and I've been saying it for 5 years. Official Flat Earth discussion.
He messed up because the old group used to be called the Official Flat Earth Globe Discussion Group, and now that got deleted, after having 400,000 members, it got deleted and he's way down now. Now he made a new one that's just the Official Flat Earth Discussion because he has said he is done dealing with globe earthers. Odds on Biden with Nevada are good. They voted against Trump last election. I agree. It's still just, it's nerve-wracking. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. If time travel ever becomes a thing, then I'm going back in time and leaving a book that says Earth is thick. God himself spoke it to me in a restroom at Comerica Park during a Sex Abacus concert. And then Bryzy Art with 20 bits. Can you show how Maine is doing next time you show the map? Sure.
I love you guys. Peace.
All you got to do to get linked to the official Flat Earth discussion is place your camera on your phone over this QR code, and a link will pop up at the top.
People know how QR codes work, Nathan. They're not new. Let's take a look at the Facebook group and see how they're doing today. 2.4 thousand members. Remember, the old one had over 400,000. This is not going super well, okay? So let's see, are you going to vote? The Flat Earthers the winner of this poll, are you going to vote, is yes, Trump. Are we surprised that the majority of flat earthers, or at least the largest group out of these three options between yes, Trump, no, and yes, Biden, 2/3, more than 2/3, no, that's a terrible, just because there's three options doesn't mean it's 2/3, Hannah, you idiot. Out of 230-something votes, only 13 went to Biden, and the rest went to either Trump or no, not voting. That tracks. Yeah, CNN called Michigan for Biden, which is rad. Any proof of gas pressure existing without some sort of containment? I would love to see the experiment. Luckily, the Earth does have containment in a way for gas pressure. It's called gravity, and it holds the atmosphere to the surface of the Earth. This person said, I will also be leaving this group. Some of your mouths are putrid. I assume that's being sarcastic, though. Tell me about the spinning ball you never see or feel. That poor cat. It's an idiot. Dad, why can't I see any curve? Because there isn't any sun. And if I trust anyone, it's lions. Anyway, you get it. Nathan's Flat Earth group. Pretty depressing, but also much smaller than his old one, so that's nice.